Hello, my friend. Welcome to my sewing room. My name is Catherine. If you've not been here before, this is where I clamber up every day and spend a few hours doing all the things I love to do creatively, and I'm very happy that you joined me. If you're returning, I'd like to say thank you for coming back, and I am apologizing ahead of time for the amount of time it took me to come back and say hello. I always feel like I'm not going to have a lot to share, and of course, once I get into yammering and going down rabbit holes, there's a lot more coming out of my mouth than I planned. So I apologize ahead of time for that, but here I am. I'm here. Today is December 19th, and I am actually today's the 20th. I kind of lost a couple of days here. And I have a lot of things to share with you. I have a lot of works in progress. I have a couple of small finishes, and today I have some doll talk. So I have been working on my stitching as usual, a lot of cross stitch, a lot of samplers. I have a little bit of crochet that I'll share with you, and I love to stitch doll clothing now. I'm one of those grown women that play with dolls. Now, they are historical dolls, so I feel like I'm stitching historical clothing, but it's really on a miniature scale, which you think would go a lot faster. But spoiler alert, it does not. So let's just jump right in with Flosstube number, 45, I think. And here it is. We are, Christmas is upon us. It is happening next week. I have lots of things to do to get ready for that, but this is my happy place, so here I am. So let's see. I'd like to say thank you. First of all, I want to jump back a little bit and say thank you to all of my friends that left a comment on my last video saying condolences for the loss of our sweet dog. And it really meant a lot to me. So I wanted to say thank you for that. Also thank you to Calvin, my son, for writing the music for the video that I put in at the beginning and the end. So thanks, honey. Alrighty, let's just jump right in. Let's talk about, let's see what I've been doing creatively. So the Jingle Ball happened and I participated in that. I'll talk a little bit about that and a stitch that I did based around that. And that was a few weeks ago. So I jumped on, I got a ticket for that. I didn't participate in any of the classes, but I did do some shopping. And I will share what I ended up getting there. The Jingle Ball for me, I mean, because I have Apple products, so I have an iPhone, iPad, iMac, I felt that it was a little frustrating. I would lose connection. We also live in the country, so we do have Starlink, which helps, but I kept losing connection and watching that little spinning wheel, and I had some technical issues and little fixes that helped, but for the most part, I found myself getting kind of frustrated around that, but it didn't stop me from shopping. And I have to say, just on that note, I will not avoid going to any of their events in the future, because I still was able to do a little bit of whip speed dating, which was fun, and a couple of the meet and greets, which were great. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it was overall really well done. I really enjoyed the ballroom activities that they had put together for us. I really enjoyed meeting some of the designers when they did their meet and greets. I really liked that, and just fantastic stuff in their shop. So thumbs up for Jingle Ball. And so I'll start with that. I had a little finish. You can maybe see it behind me. A lot of the designers, if not all the designers, did a freebie in their shops that you could download. So I went on to Blue Flower's shop and I ended up getting a chart. So I downloaded this chart and I ended up starting it during the Jingle Ball, and I think I finished it the day after the ball ended and fully finished it. So this is my fully finish of Festive Flicker, And this is by the Blue Flower. And isn't it darling? It is a little woodpecker. We have a lot of woodpeckers that live out here. And it has a little sweater cap on. Just couldn't be cuter. And that is the back. I just used a fun, festive fabric. And I finished it with, this is a Lady Creates mini pom-pom trim in the color Sizzle. And it just happened to work really well. I did this with, this is on a 25 count Lugana that I had in my scrap bag. And it was something that I found at the thrift store. And so it's in a very pale light blue, which I thought was kind of a fun wintry color. And I use Silks for You in, I'll put the image up here of the Silks for You because I have gone over and over my sewing room and I can't find where I threw the silks for this. But it's basically a red Silks for You and a lighter color. It was very close to the DMC that she called for, or the colors that she called for. So anyway, that turned out, that was a lot of fun to do and to finish. So that was finish number one. I'm going to talk about this other finish that I did. I participated in a gift exchange through Homespun Needleworks on Facebook, that group. They put out a call to see if you wanted to do a Christmas exchange. And so I said, sure. So I jumped in and they planned it really well. And I stitched this piece, which is from Judy Whitman, and it's called Sampler Stitcher Stocking, I believe, or Sampler Stocking. I think I have the chart in my group of in my whip pile. That if I find it, if I come across it, I'll pull it out and show you. So I made it into the stocking finish, and I had a great time doing it. I think I stitched this on a 40 count. My favorite. What is it? It's by Needle and Flax, and it's called My Favorite Needle and Flax. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to edit. Darn it. Okay, so it is, I'll come across it and I'll show you. But it's on a Needle and Flax, and I fully finished it with a trim that I made and all that good stuff. I'll run it across here what it is. Needle and Flax. I've got like every single thing is pretty much stitched on it. So it's the Flosstube brain where it just goes right out of your head when you're talking. Anyway, I know if you make Flosstubes, you're feeling me right now. Okay, so here we go. Let's just dive right into my whips, and if anything else comes popping into my head, I'll share that with you. Oh, before that, I do have this is a previous finish I'm going to show you. Oh, I did do this one too. Okay, gosh, sorry. Blue Flower also put out a freebie of the hippo, which I couldn't resist. And any of these freebies, if I can find them, I'll link. Now, the one from the Jingle Ball, you're not going to find right now, I don't think, but you can get this one on her website. And I just chose this, whatever I had lying around for color-wise, and I use the same background. And I think this is a lady dot, but it's not mini, it's a bigger pom-pom trim that I had in my stash. And this is a piece of 36 count, something called Iced Tea. It's kind of a grayish color. So I finished him. And then I also have this I brought in, and this never really goes away, but I just thought I'd pull it in and show you. These are the Blackbird Design stockings that you can do. It's from the Home from the Holidays book. And I finished these a couple years ago, and they just live, I think 2022 obviously is when I finished it, 3 years ago. And I love them. They were super, super fun to stitch. I'm pretty sure this is a 36 count. They're quite large. I did finish them like stockings so that I can actually put things in them, which I don't think there's anything in them, but so those I thought I'd show you because I had them. I that I'd pull them on in. And I just put them on this. I found this at the thrift store. It's a coffee mug holder, and it worked out. Worked out for those. Anyway, let's just jump right in. So I'm going to go right into my works in progress. So I would show you my book of days, but it has been woefully ignored. I had it up here for a while, and I thought, I'm not writing in it. I'll put it back downstairs. So now it's back downstairs, and I forget to write down what I work on, but I'll talk a little bit more about how I'm tracking my stitching and what's helping me to keep track of what I'm working on. So I'm going to start off with, and this is in no particular order, I just came up a little while ago and kind of pressed some of these pieces and got them ready to show you. So this is, I started Jessie Challenor this year, and I bought this at the attic in February when I was there for a retreat. I got it totally kitted up there, and I'm doing the colored, the really bright color version. This one is actually gorgeous, and I know I was looking on, I'm going to talk about this really quick. So Krista Gramer, who is Just Stitching Along is her company. She has a group on Facebook, and she will do giveaways, and she is actually giving away this chart right now with this color version in silks from totally kitted. So go check out Krista Gramer on Facebook, and I believe she's drawing for the name tomorrow, which if I get this together and get this uploaded, it will be for Sunday the 21st of December, I believe is when she's pulling for the name for that. So if you're interested in stitching this and you'd like a chance to win that, go check out Krista. Krista also does Stitch With Me videos live on Facebook that I've done quite a bit of, and you just go and she has a close-up of what she's stitching on, and she talks to you the whole time, and she shares things. She's great. She's so fantastic. So I highly recommend you go check out Krista Gramer on Facebook, follow her, and you will get a live notice when she is going to be doing her, I believe it's Mondays with Mary. I can't remember all of the different days that she does her lives. I know for sure Monday is when I try to do it. And she's on the East Coast, so it kind of works out. Like for me, right before I'm starting to prep for dinner, I can go and watch Krista for an hour. Anyway, all that to say, here's my meager progress on Jessie Challenor. This is on a 37 count Legacy Linen Russian Tea Cake in the bright colorway. And I'll pull the flosses up to show you in a second here. And while I'm showing this, I'm going to talk a little bit. I got to be a part of a Zoom with Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. She does a Zoom. It's kind of a lottery situation where you put your name in the hat. She draws 10 names, and Sarah is the very best Zoom host I've ever seen. She keeps it to, I think, 10 people or so, and she has a special Flosstube guest that she will invite on. That's a secret guest you won't know until you get onto the Zoom. The cool thing about Sarah is she gives everybody a chance to share what they're working on, so you feel very seen, very heard, and you get a chance to calmly share what you're working on, and it's so fun to see what people are doing and connect with other stitchers that way. I was lucky enough to be on the Zoom call, and her special guest was Heidi Stitching Faye, and I have to say I fangirled all over the place, got a little teary-eyed, and was so excited to meet her. And she might even be done with Jessie Challenor. That's how fast that girl stitches. So if for some reason you haven't caught up with her, I'll put her below and you can check on it. But she was doing it in the bright colorway too, which is why I brought her up and the Zoom up. But I'm really having fun with this. I have all of the Averiswa silks, which are bright, colorful. It's my favorite type of stitching is the bright colorful samplers. So I got through the bird, and now I'm going to be headed over into the more sampler motif kind of stitching, which is what I feel more comfortable doing. This I have it on my phone in my notes app, and I can really zoom it in and highlight as I go, so that makes it a lot easier. And the neat thing about the notes app, I'll just talk about that really quick here, is that I can hold all of the projects that I want to work on in that app, and whenever I work from that app, it tells me when I worked from that app. So I can go back and if I forgot to write down in my book of days what I worked on, I can see in my notes app what it was I worked on and when I worked on it. And I can, so if there's things that it looks like I haven't worked on in a while, I can pull them back up and work on them. Anyway, that's where I am on Jessie Challenor. And that lives in a bag that I made. And I actually have this panel that I bought at the attic at the time I got this, thinking I would make a project bag out of it, but I haven't yet. But that's what it will look like when it's all said and done. I got the bright panel, and it's just a little bag that, it's not little, it's a bigger bag that I made. So that, my friends, is that one. And let's see here. This is a little one that I did. So this is a Christmas bag I made. And it's all floppy, but I just thought that was cute. I got that at the quilt store. That fabric panel, I just loved it. So I made that, and I just kind of keep a lot of my Christmas projects, the smaller things like ornaments, freebies, things like that. So this is a freebie I got from Heartstring Samplery, and I don't know how to show you other than to show you, but you can find this at heartstringsamplery.com, and it's just a little Christmas tree. So I just picked out Christmas tree colors. This is on a piece of 36 count Weeks Dye Works parchment, and that's my little finish. And I just grabbed whatever colors of floss that I wanted to use. Just DMC, and I put, I don't know if you can see the sparkle. I used some Petite Treasure braid to make the lights kind of twinkle on it. It really could use a star, but I don't know that I feel brave enough to do that. So I think what I might do, I'll just put it in an oval, kind of like I did for this one here. Just make a little oval finish for my Christmas tree. So that was another finish, but that it lives in here, and I've got the Christmas ornaments 2023 that I've done just a couple. I don't know that I've even done anything out of that. I also have Prairie Schooler patterns in here, and this one I've not done anything from, which I really want. This is a terrible, I PDF'd it, Hannah's Christmas, and this is From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Oh, I just love those. I love every single one of them. So this may be what I start next in the way of ornaments. And then, like, when I have little offcuts of fabric, I'll throw that in there. So this is a 40 count Tropical Stitches Geo Vanilla. I love the Tropical Stitches linen. And so this works out great for ornament finishes. Okay, I'll stop going down that rabbit hole, but there's lots more in here. I just kind of throw all my freebies and things that I want to get to in there. Let's move on. Oh, I love this one. So this one is Anna These, the next one. I'll show you an image here. So this is a PDF. So this is from the Sampler Antique Needlework Quarterly. So this is from a CD, a disc. You may still be able to get this. And it is number 56. And it is from the year 2009. And it's Anna These. So it's kind of a faded out to begin with, the colors are not quite as bright, and which I'm fine with. It's so cute, and it's really tiny. Now we're just about to head into January, and a lot of people like to do a blessing sampler. I don't know that I would choose this for blessing sampler. It's not big, but that stitching is kind of intense for me. But let me show you where I am on it. So this is on a piece of 40 count Pemberley by Swan Bay Fabrics. And I'll start back here, kind of show you what the fabric looks like. That it's beautiful. And then I'll come closer, and the lights that I have are going to kind of wash it out a little bit, but that's my progress. And I could not be more in love with this. It has been so much fun to stitch. And again, I put it in my notes app on my phone, and you can use an iPad or whatever, Kindle, whatever, and you can really, I pinch and squeeze and blow it up, and then I can mark it off, highlight it as I go. But so I've been kind of methodically going around that wreath, and so I think what I might do is save the wreath for last. I don't know, that might be a good idea, and it might not be. I might get stalled out if I do that, but anyway, I just finished this bird motif over here, carried that left side down and finished it, and I'm just in love with it. I love the kitty. I just love everything. And I'm using the Call for DMC. Let me see if, and it lives in my swan. This is a swan bag I made, and I made mistakes on it, but oh well, it works out. And I'm using DMC, and that's all the DMC. It's quite a lot of DMC. And it's kind of that faded out, some of it ghosts. So it's not my favorite type of stitching, but I know when it's all said and done, I'm going to love it. So I'm trying to be a more mature stitcher. I've talked about that before, because I just want to stitch all the sparkly, bright things. And sometimes when you have more subtle coloring, it just looks fantastic. But for me, it's not always the most fun. I want to talk a little bit about Swan Bay Fabrics. They have a Fabric of the Month club that I signed up for. I'm going to link it below because I think you can still get in on it. From what I understand, because it's located in the UK, that it gets sent to the US, and I believe it's Angie the Tiny House Stitcher that is the distributor for Swan Bay Fabrics. So it gets sent to Angie, and Angie sends it out to us. So it's win-win. It's like you still pay what you would normally pay for US shipping. You don't have all of that extra shipping included, and you get to have a sampler color is what I understand. We're going to be getting in. It's every 2 months. So it's not a huge, cost associated with it. You're not, getting something every month. It's every 2 months. But I'm really looking forward to the Swan Bay Fabrics are just gorgeous. I've got another project I want to start on it. So let's get into the next whip, and I'll show you as I go along what the next project is that I want to start. Okay, Frances Eden. Now this is one I've been chipping away at Frances Eden. This is, you can get this on 1884 Stitchery, and this is something I saw through my friend Angie. Not Angie. Sally, the Tudor House Stitcher, finished it, and I had to start it immediately. So I kitted this up, and I'm doing this on a piece of, I believe this is Russian tea cake. Let me just double check. Now I write it on the fabric, 40 count platinum. See, I'm glad I looked. 40 count platinum, and I am using the called for flosses, which I think are over yonder. I got the flosses through Victoria Clayton silks. That is what my friend Sally used, and that's what I wanted mine to look like. So that is where I am on Frances Eden. And I know Sherry from Colorado Cross Stitcher was also working on Frances. So the houses are just darling. I still have lots to go on it. I have all of this side to do. And the words at the bottom, but the words are over 2, so that's a good story. A lot of stitching left to do, but I really love this one. This one just makes my heart sing. Frances Eden. And I just kept all the colors as they came from Victoria Clayton. Okie dokie, let's move on here. This is what I did for my black sampler. So in November, I think it was Modern Folk Embroidery, Jacob started a black sampler in November. So we have sampler September, and I think he started a few years ago. Hey, let's all stitch something that is black in November. So I jumped on with a Mama Loves You GB, Be Not a Dunce, which I've had this. I bought it a couple years ago, and it's just been sitting in my sewing room waiting for me to start it. And this was the year. So I should be way more. I'm not going to say that I should be. I'm not as far along as I thought I would be. How's that? But I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count Wonderful Walter. I believe that's what I am. And it is by Those Missing Stitches. And I'm using, this is Silks for You in PRO Pro 70. And it's their substitute Silks for You for DMC Black. And the thing I like about it, it has a little shadowy look to it. And it has a little bit of variegation. But it also, well, it's kind of smoky looking. So that's where I am on it. So I'm going to pull it back. So this is a nice gray, what I call grayish. So it's a gray beige. And you can see, I mean, this sampler stocking that I did, this is a Carriage House sampler stocking, and I used parchment, Weeks Dye Works parchment. So that warm parchment compared to this kind of grayish is what I used, is the gray. And I like it a lot. And that's how far I am. Simple stitching, you know, super easy, but I kind of, it's kind of my big girl stitching that I have to put my big girl pants on and stitch. This lives in a bag that was given to me by my friend Kim from Contented Needleworker Kim. Isn't that perfect? It's a PT, it's from PT Bags. I just love. So that's where I am on that. Let's move on. This is another, it's kind of a challenge for me to work on because it's monochromatic. So there's just one color. This is a bag that I made. So isn't this cool? This is fabric that I got at the fabric store that is by Charlie Harper. And again, it's so cute, the woodpecker. And couldn't resist. So I made a bag out of it. And I like the tall bags. I just use the Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch or the Lori Holt tutorial and finish it that way. So in this bag lives Pennsylvania Red Deer. And this is where I am on it. This was something that I started based on watching my friend Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. She had a great finish and made a project bag out of it, which I may borrow that idea. This is on a piece of 40 count Aztec Red by Weeks Dye Works, and it's showing up being very bright, but it is not as bright. It's more of a clay to me. It's a nice color. No, I'm loving it, but I probably wouldn't use this fabric again based on how I feel like it's not, I feel like it's the old Weeks. So it's kind of thin and loosey-goosey. That's the only way I can really describe it. It's not my favorite, but it's gonna look great when it's all said and done. This is Dinky Dye's Natural is the color I used, and I'm just using one strand of floss. Let me show you the pattern. And again, this pattern is by Shakespeare's Peddler, and that's the way it will look. And I don't know, I'm tempted to do that finish of a pillow, but I also really like the idea of having a project bag that I will use a lot more and I'll get to look at all the time. So that might be what I do with it. So you can see where I am. I've just gone up through the middle. There are some mistakes on it, which they're okay. I'm gonna fudge it and move on. So this was kind of a Christmas stitch. Well, clearly it's a Pennsylvania Christmas deer, so, but I mean, it's the type of folk art that you could leave out year round if you wanted to. There we go. All right, let's move right along. This is a Hands Across the Sea, and it is something I've had on the go for quite a while. And it's Mary G. Ramage. Let me show you. That is what it will look like when it's all done. And this is a temperance sampler. So Scottish temperance sampler. So they were trying to warn us of the dangers of drinking. So at the bottom here, it says, wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. So let's see what year this is, 1891. So that is what it will look like, and this is where I am on it. I'm using a piece of 36 count toasted almond by Stephanie. Hand dyed by Stephanie is the name of the fabric dyer. I have quite a lot of this fabric, so I can probably get a whole nother little sampler out of it. I'm using one strand of floss, and you'll know, I mean, well, I don't know if you'll know, but I typically only use one strand of floss when I'm stitching. It just makes it go so much faster for me, pulling the threads and getting them lined up and getting them to line up. So I think it looks great. The alphabet was supposed to be, or it's charted as eyelet stitches, but I think when I started this, I had done a bunch of eyelet stitches and I wasn't feeling it. So I just did Smyrna crosses, and I think they look fantastic still. It looks lots of fun. So I'm using all the called for DMC. I did sub out the gold. Let me see what I subbed here. I try to keep notes. So I've got DMC 3820. And that's what I put around the outside, and that's subbed for 226. And I just thought it looked more like gold leaf, which is what I wanted the frame to turn out like, is gold leaf, like a gold leaf frame around the outside. So yeah, I just picked it up and worked on some of the alphabet. So it's back in the rotation. Alrighty. So this next one is by Pineberry Lane, and this is something that I bought at the attic, and a lot of people were starting it, so I had to get on the bandwagon here, and I'm glad I did. Hannah and Emma Foster, and I'm using all the goblins. So the attic put together a special goblin pack. And I think this was inspired by Laura Duet, who is Modern Mozart on Instagram, and she's the other half of Brenda and the Cereal Starter. So Katie Strachan put together the Goblin pack? That's what it was. Katie Strachan made a Goblin pack, and so I have all my goblins in here. And I'm doing this on the called for, I believe this is 37 count, I think it's Foxtail Millet. And this is by Legacy Linen. It's just so nice. All right, now it's really getting blown out. I'm going to pull it back so you can see how warm that fabric is. That's a good representation of the color. I'll pull it forward now so you can see the stitching. And it's going pretty fast. I mean, the Gobelins are take a moment to get used to, and I've talked about that before. They kind of bounce back a little bit, so you've got to give them a little bit of a tug. You've got to be patient working with them, but once you get the feel of it, the result is absolutely beautiful. You can see, let me see if I can get you in for dimension. You can kind of see the puffy, how puffy those stitches are. I love that. I love the colors. The thing I am doing differently, and I know other people are talking about that or have talked about it, is the way it's charted. This is not quite centered over this motif. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be moving that business so that it's centered over the center. So it's just a matter of nudging it this way a little bit. I'm not really nutty about what the verse says. I can't even remember. Tender's my house and portion fair. I think what I'm going to do is chart something small, or maybe stick motifs in there. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, that's where I am on it, and I'm loving it. Very pretty. And that lives in a bag that I made out of this Lori Holt fabric. This was back when I was doing the vinyl fronted bags. I don't do those as much anymore. Not because for any other reason than I just feel like they can kind of see the chart, but it's upside down and whatever. I feel like they take a little bit more time for me, so I tend to just use the fabric, and I like the fabric. I like to see the fabric that I have in my stash. I've got a lot of good quilt fabric that I want to use up. Okay, Martha Pudsey. This is one that I have been, again, chipping away at for quite a while. I've had wanted to do it for quite a number of years. I think last year I kitted this up at Needle in a Haystack in Alameda. It's the Scarlet House. I'm doing this on a piece of raw, which is a Zweigart base. It's Newcastle, so that would be a 40 count raw. And let me show you where I am on this. And I'm using all the called for silk. Let me see if I can pull that up. And so I put all the silks on these playing cards that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I just made little floss drops out of, and they were really inexpensive. To get a pack of playing cards there, I think was maybe $3, and I had obviously 56 in there. So these are needle point silk, and this is living in a bag that my friend Andrea Caffrey made, and she is Fillin69 on Instagram, and she does sell her bags there, so you can get one from her. And this is where I am. I have not made a ton of progress, but boy, I'll tell you that the ground part that I've been working on, where all the sheep are, and underneath Eve's feet there, that takes a lot of, that's a lot of stitching. A lot of solid stitching. So once I get through like the Adam and Eve, I think this is going to go a lot faster. She said. I don't know. The border is pretty intense, and it's kind of a big sampler, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this big. It is quite a big one. And I'm using all the called for. And let me pull back a little bit so you can see it. Oh, so pretty. Martha Pudsey. Okay, and let's go on here. So my next one, this is one that I started, I don't remember, I started this year. Oh, on my birthday. Okay, so here's the story. I started this on my birthday. Let me show you what I started. I bought it and I bought all the DMC, thinking I'll just use the DMC. And I've got, the first thing I started was on a piece of 40 count pewter by Picture This Plus. Beautiful fabric. It's that grayish kind of look. Noelle Corbeanu by Reflet de Soie. And I just wanted it to look just like that, right? So I thought, oh, it'll be fine. I'll just work with it. So I got all the DMC and I started stitching on it. And that's where I got. And, you know, it's pretty, but it wasn't what I wanted. I saw Nicola from Handmade number 12 Stitch Co. And she lives in Australia and had done this as her blessing sampler, I think last year, might have been this year. And so I thought, okay, that's what I want. I want it to look like hers. So I sent her a message and I said, I don't know if you're willing to share your conversion, because she did a conversion for it. She was kind enough to send me her conversion. And this is glorious. So I restarted it, and this is on a piece of Wonderful Walter, and this is by Those Missing Stitches. It's a little bit warmer, so here's what I started with, the first one, right? I'll hold them up together so you can see what I've done. And this is the other one, Wonderful Walter. And this is my progress so far. Let me come forward and you can see it is absolutely beautiful. I am so grateful for Nicola for sharing her conversion with me. If you would like it, please contact her. I will link her below, and you can get it from her. I'm just so over the moon crazy about it. So you can see she's done just an incredible job recharting. And this is, and just to hold them up together so you can kind of get an idea how different, and why I was so happy when I started to stitch this. Look at how different it is. This is the conversion, and this is what is charted. Conversion, what was charted. I wasn't prepared to show this one today because that's why it's not pressed, but you can see how amazingly different the colors are. So if you're interested in stitching this, send her a message and see if she can share that with you. Oh, just so pretty. And so this is, again, one of the things that I'm stitching that is through my Notes app. And because of all of that is so confetti-like, it's not really my favorite type of stitching, but I'm doing it. I'm leaning into it, and it's turning out beautifully. So, oh, love it. All right, let's go on. Last one I'm sharing today, my last whip, is by Heartstring Samplery, and it's Consider the Lilies. And I picked it up again because my friend Michelle Hudson from Sacramento, California, Sacramento County, she's in our stitching group that I belong to, For the Love of Stitches in Sacramento. And she, I think, had this at the last meetup and was working on it. And I know she works on it every Sunday. So I thought, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull it out on Sundays and work on it because I've had it going for so long. And I really do love it. And I want to finish it. I have it all kitted up with all the called for flosses. A lot of fancy floss. It would be nice to actually use it all. And here it is. And I have been working on it. So I had it completely outlined with half stitch. And so I know I kind of have landmarks on where I am. This is a 36 count. I started this back when I was not as confident with 4D. That's my only thing going forward, is I would definitely use a 4D on this just to make it a little bit smaller, easier to get it framed and finished, but I just love it. I'm only using one strand of floss, and I've worked on this side, so I've done a lot of the motifs, and I've been trying to kind of bounce back and forth, and that's where I am. Let me see here. So 36 count sand, I believe. 36 count. Let me pull it up and show you. So I have that all on this. Let me see. Pausing. Okay, 36 count Sand Castle by Silk Weaver. Okay, that's what it is. Sand Castle by Silk Weaver. Happy, happy colors. So I think I'll continue on with my Sunday stitching on this, and it's all those little motifs that we love so much in our samplers. So that's my whips, and I'm going to pause here, clean up a little bit, and then I'll be right back with a little bit of haul, and I have a doll to show you. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I have a doll to share with you. Now, I do some historical fashion. I love historical fashion. I'm not an expert, but I do have costuming in my blood. I like to make historical recreations, is what I love. So I found this doll in a local antique store, and I didn't really know anything about the China head dolls, but I've certainly seen them in other floss tubes, and so it really was something that I thought, well, I'll get her. And this one, she needed a lot of help with her clothes, so I made her that dress, and it kind of got me really looking at these dolls, and so I started to kind of learn more about the China head dolls. I have a book that I use to help me identify what I have. So anyway, I was on eBay perusing that one night, and I found this doll that I will pull up here, and this is my newest doll, and she is, I think she's from the 1860s. She might be a little bit later than that, but not much. She's in really good shape. She's got a little wear on the back of her head where she's been lying down probably, and it looks like her original hands and the feet, which this is really why I loved her so much. I loved the flat bottom boots that she had. She came to me not dressed. She was dressed, but it looked like fabric from the 70s. It was not the original clothing. So I redid her undergarments. I made her the pantalettes, and these are all made out of like a batiste. I made her a nice ruffly petticoat. And then I really wanted a red dress for her for Christmas. So I did a little cartridge pleated skirt and a bodice. So the bodice I kind of draped on her and I just kind of created this bodice out of my head. The good thing about dolls is they kind of sit still. They don't complain if you put a pin in them. So I got to kind of pin stuff on and make a muslin. And then the sleeves, I've been watching or rewatching the miniseries Victoria on Netflix. And was just all into the 1830s-esque sleeves with the pleated upper and then really billowy bottom part. So I tried to recreate that as best I could. It's not perfect, but it's there. And underneath is a little slip I made her. So I might embellish it more. This is a silk that I found. It's a taffeta, which going forward with dolls, I probably would use more of a tissue taffeta. This is more of taffeta that you would find in people clothing or perhaps window treatment. It was just some remnant that I found on eBay. And so that is my latest doll. I've decided to name her, for now, her name is Emma. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a podcast that I listen to. So I have to really recommend to you, this podcast is called The Rest is History. You might already be listening to it if you're somebody that's into history or just like people to tell you stories as you stitch or create. It depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't want to get pulled away if I'm stitching on something where I really need to focus my energy on what it is I'm doing. I just want to listen. And so they're very good at telling you stories. So it's Tom and Dominic from The Rest is History, and they are in the UK. They're British, and they tell a lot of British history, but they also do a lot of world history. So there's things from all over the place. And I will link them below. I'll link, oh gosh, they just did a few episodes on Disney, which I thought was interesting. They did a really great episode or series of episodes on General Custer here in America. The reason her name is Emma is because I listened to their series on Horatio Nelson. And his lady love was Emma Hamilton, and she kind of inspired me to name my doll Emma. She was, somebody that came out of nowhere and nothing, and ended up being, married to the ambassador of Naples. I mean, she's got an incredible story. So, and Horatio Nelson, I never thought I was going to be that into naval history, but the way they talk about it and the energy they have behind it and the detail, the level that they go to research their podcast is so impressive. So cannot recommend that enough, and that's why her name is Emma. So that's why I'm stitching that all together. So there we have that. And I think that's all that I'm going to share right now in terms of my stitching. I do have some crochet that I've been doing. It's just little crocheted mitts that I'm going to be giving out for Christmas that were easy. At night sometimes if I don't want to sit and focus on a stitch, I can just pick up crochet, and that's super easy. So that's what I've been working on too. So let's talk a little bit about my haul, and I would like to talk about what I want to start in January for my blessing sampler. So I'm going to pause here for a second because there's one more thing I'm sharing. This is one of the problems of not doing a floss tube on a regular basis, is now all these things are starting to pop into my head that I really wanted to talk about. So my husband, Phil, climbed Mount Whitney, which is, I think, the highest point in the United States, and he took a week to do that. And this was about a month and a half ago that he did it. So he has a hiking buddy, and they took their time. They did the ascent, and the pictures that he sent me were just incredible. Every day there would be only places that you can see if you hike in, which I will never do. I'm just not that kind of hiker. One of the things he asked me before he left is if there was anything I wanted to have go with him to that high altitude. So I picked this little sampler that I had done for my blessing sampler this year. And this is from Samplers and Santas. I'll link them below. It's a blog. You can go get a bunch of free, this is free, and this is a mini sampler, and I just did part of the mini sampler for my sampler. So this has actually been to, oh my gosh, what is it, 14,000 feet? It's way up there. I probably got that number wrong. I'll put it here. But I'll put a picture here of Phil. Here's Phil with this sampler at the top of Mount Whitney. And so what my plans are with this are to make it into a patch and to sew it onto my jeans jacket, which I've been adding things to for a couple of years. So this is going to go there. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of him for doing that. I'm so proud of him for doing that, and I'm so thrilled to have this. And I have a story behind it. So, okay, let's just jump into what I have gotten. I have a few things. Oh, I have a free chart I want to share with you. So this popped up on my Instagram. You probably, if you're on Instagram and you don't follow me, I'm at Trinkety. I'll put it here. And I just post things that I'm stitching on usually. So this popped up. This is a freebie by Crocette a Gogo. And she's done a few freebies for Christmas, and this was one that popped up, and I just thought it was so darling. So you can go over to right here, her blog, and if you take a picture of that with your phone, you can probably go right to it. And I downloaded it, and I want to stitch this, even if it's part of it. It's just, I love all the colors. I love the pink, the green. Oh, it's just so cute. So very generous of her to give us a free chart. I also picked up a piece of 40 count heroic, and this is by Picture This Plus. This is a piece of fabric that I've wanted for quite a while. I had to put in on 1, 2, 3 stitch that I wanted it. It just took time for it to show up in that they had it in stock, and I bopped over and got that. So this is a fat quarter of that, and it's got like a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, cream background, and I just couldn't, I love it. So that's one side of it, and this is the more mellow side. So you can kind of pick which side you want to work on, and I'm going to show you in a second what I'm thinking of starting on this. So as you know, next year is the 250th celebration of America and democracy in America. So I plan to do a little bit of patriotic stitching, and I'll go ahead and show you what I want to stitch. I think on this is Salute to Abigail, and this is from Sweet Land of Liberty by Blackbird Designs. Let me see if I can find you the bigger picture in here. I've done a couple of things. I've done one thing out of this, but this is Salute to Abigail. Very pretty. So I thought about making that my blessing sampler, but I honestly think it's maybe a little too much for me to get done in 1 month. And that's the idea, is you start it and then you finish it in the month of January, and it's supposed to bless your stitching for the year. So I would like that to happen. We'll see about that. Let's see, what else do I have here? I've got this really pretty floss. This is by Classic Colorworks. This was, I think at the time I got that fabric, I got this too. It's called Caroline. It's just a fun red. And this is by Classic Colorworks. I've kind of an orangey red, but I thought it would be fun for Christmas stitching. This was something that I was watching Brenda and Laura, and this inspired me to run over to 1, 2, 3 Stitch and find it. This is by Lottie Daw, and it is called Elizabeth Jones Sampler. This picture can't really do it the justice that it deserves. If you go to Brenda and Laura and see Laura's progress on this, the colors are beautiful. I am tempted. It's all charted in DMC, I think I'm going to just do the DMC. And I would choose this for my blessing sampler, but I know all those flowers. That's going to take me a minute. I love the swans. Last year was my year of the swan. I just wanted everything swan, 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 swan. I couldn't get enough of them. And so I think this year it's going to be I'll pick a different animal for my spirit animal. Maybe I'll talk about that in January. I'll come back in January and let you know what I started. Probably do a whip parade, and we'll see how I do here. This is another option for my sampler, blessing sampler. This is nice and small. Alice Tippett. A lot of people are actually starting Alice Tippett as their blessing sampler. I think there's a whole group of people that are doing it. Let's see, on a 40 count linen, the design will be basically 5 by 7. So it's going to be small. That's a temptation to start that. I also have this, which is Anna Morgan's. And again, that's not terribly big. It's a little bit, well, obviously bigger than Alice Tippett, but I feel like it's doable. This I could start and finish. This is a sampler drum. To me, it's a little bit cheating because it's not quite a sampler, but I could do all of it, I think, in January, but I don't know. There's that. This one I've wanted to start forever. It just sits there looking at me. I really like it, but this is what I'm thinking. If I do I'll do a blessing sampler. If I do it all one color, I think it might be kind of a slog for me to just work, because I'm going to have to primarily focus on just this. Whatever I choose, it's going to be my primary focus. And so I don't know. This one is just so pretty. So that one might be the start. This is actually what I originally thought I would do, so I'll just show you. My sister's samplers, Ann Richardson. I've had this kitted up forever. I pulled floss and did my own conversion just with all the happy colors, and I really like this. It's not terribly big. It's 138 by 147. The major part is that. But I feel like if I broke it down, so this was week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are there 5 weeks in January? Probably not. I'd have to really hustle, but I might be able to get this one done. And I do have the other half of my Pemberley by Swan Bay Fabrics that it would fit on. Let me pull back here. And I think it would look really pretty on that. So this was my original choice, but it just depends on how scared I get about actually finishing. I don't know. I take these things pretty seriously. Like, if I don't finish it, I'm going to be in trouble. When that's probably not. It's just stitching. It's only stitching. Oh, and if I totally chicken out, I do have this whole kit from Milady's Needle, a schoolroom primer. Which would probably be for my dolls. It's got a little horn book, and if I do that one, then I can work on all my other whips and still get this done. What else do I have? Oh, I did buy the 2026 Book of Days, just plain, did not get the binding. I like that for me. It just works out fine. So happy to have that, and hopefully I'll be on board with actually. Oh, another possibility, spring sampler fragment. It's not quite a sampler. Well, it's not a full sampler, but it's a fragment of a sampler. Does that count for my blessing sampler? I really love it. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler. I don't have any of the DMC, but it's charted all in DMC. Love it. So all of that to say, I think I think I've shown you everything that I have going on right now. So, gosh, thank you for stopping by. I want to say Merry Christmas. We celebrate Christmas here, but I wish you happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. I'm sending you lots of love, and I hope you get a lot of peaceful stitches, and I will see you in January. Many blessings, my friends.